All right, so we have our markup done for the music player. Now we just want to do the styling. So first thing I'm going to do is paste in my font. I'm going to use the Lato font from Google Fonts. And then let's add our box sizing on everything. And we're going to do border box. And then on the body, let's set we're going to do a gradient background. So for background image, we can set linear gradient, and we're going to pass in three things. First is the angle, which is going to be 0 degrees, because we want it to go straight up and down. And then the two colors, so we'll do RGBA. Let's do 247 three times, which is a light gray. And then for the alpha 1, and we want to set the percentage of the gradient. So let's do 23.8%. Okay, then we'll put a comma, and for the next color, we're going to do a light pink, which is going to be 252 red, 221, 221 blue, and then 1 for the alpha, and it's going to be 92%. So if we save that, we should see that gradient. Now, obviously, we want it to take up the whole viewport, so let's set the height of this to 100 viewport heights. And we're going to display flex, and we want to set the flex direction to a column so that it goes back to vertical, and now we can align to the middle. So align items center and justify content center. That'll put it in the middle. We want to apply our font family. And we're going to set the margin to 0. Okay, so that's the body styling. Now we're going to do the music container, which wraps around everything. So let's say music container, and we're going to set the background color of this to white and set a border radius. So we want this to have rounded corners, so we'll do 15 pixels on the border radius. I also want to give it a box shadow. So this is going to be 0, 20 pixels, 20 pixels, 0, and then for the color we'll do RGBA, and let's do 252, 169, 169, and then 0.6 for the alpha value. So that'll give us this kind of blur outline shadow here. Now, if we look at the HTML, we have that's the music container. I'm going to do the music info part after. That's actually, it's going to be hidden to begin with, and then when the music plays, it'll pop up. But let's do this part right here. So we have an image container, and then inside that we have the image. So we need to do some styling for that. So let's take the image container, and we're going to position this relative, because we're actually going to position the image absolute within it, and we're going to set the width of this to 110 pixels. 110. Oh, we have some other stuff to do on the container. I don't know why I just forgot all about that. So for the container, let's display flex. Okay, so that'll align everything horizontally, and then we're going to add some padding here. Let's say padding 20 top and bottom, 30 left and right, and let's do position relative so that we can position other stuff within it, and then just add a margin 100 pixels on the top and bottom and a z-index of 10. Okay, so the image is we have the image container is 110 pixels, but the image itself is busting out of that. So let's go ahead and handle the image. So we'll say image container image, and let's make it into a circle. So we'll say border radius, let's do 50%. I'm going to use the object fit property here, and let's say cover. Now we need to set the height and the width, so the height is going to be 110 pixels, and then the width will just inherit from the container, which is 110. I don't know why I keep putting 100, it's 110. So now we have our image. Now we want to position this correctly, so let's say position absolute within the container, and we're going to position it from the bottom. See how right now it's 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 down here. We want it up more. So let's do bottom 0 and let's do left 0. So that'll put it in that position. Now this is going to have an animation on it whenever we play the song. So we might as well add that. So let's say animation, and we'll call the animation rotate, and it'll last 3 seconds. It'll be linear and it'll be infinite because we want it to keep infinite so that it'll keep playing. And then we have a property called animation play state, and we're going to set that initially to paused. So this will allow us to pause and play it. It's going to be paused by default, and then when we play the song, we'll change it to running. So let's go right under here, and let's say when the music container has a class of play, which we'll add through the JavaScript, then we want the image container image, we want that animation play state, we want that to be set to running. Okay, and then we'll just create the animation. So we will do that with a keyframes. We called it rotate. And let's say from, so the starting point, we're going to say transform rotate, and it's going to start at 0 degrees. And then the 2, so the end point is going to be transform rotate, and it's going to be 360 degrees, so a full rotation. So now if I go to my index.html and go to where the music container class is, if I add play and save, you'll see it'll start rotating. Okay, so that's what's going to basically change the UI into the state of the music being played, is adding this class, and we'll do that through the JavaScript. So I'm just going to take that off for now, and we'll continue on. So let's do the navigation. The navigation is going to kind of shapen things up. It's going to be down here, and we're going to make it much bigger. So let's add navigation, and we want to display a flex box here and align to the center. Justify center, and let's set a Z index of 1. Alright, that doesn't make much of a difference. We need to style the buttons. So remember, we have each button has an action btn class. So this is going to have a background color of white and no border. Okay, the color itself is going to be hexadecimal DFD BDF. Okay, so if I save that, you can see the color. We want this to be much bigger, so let's say font size, and we're going to set that to 20 pixels, even though the middle one we're going to make even bigger. And we also want a cursor pointer, so when we hover over them, our cursor turns into a pointer. Let's add a little bit of padding. So we'll do 10 pixels padding, and then let's add margin on the left and right, so 20 pixels left and right, like that. Alright, now the big button, we're going to change that up just a little bit. So let's say action dash btn dot action dash btn dash big, and we're going to change the color to hexadecimal value CDC 2D0, so that'll be slightly darker, and then we're going to make it bigger, so font size instead of 20 we'll make it 30, so that'll make that button a little bigger. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We probably want to remove those outlines, so let's say action button focus outline 0. Okay, so that looks pretty good. In the next video I want to do the music info, which is this part here, which will have the title and the progress bar. And basically when we play a song, we're going to have the play class added here. So that'll cause this to spin, but it will also cause the music info part to basically pop up here with the title and the progress bar. Okay, so let's remove that for now. And then in the next video, we'll go ahead and style the music info.